What up?
How are you doing, guys? How is life? Welcome again to another fantastic episode of 5Roundz. How are you doing, Paso, Mr. MP?
I'm great, Obi. I'm great. And how are you?
I'm all right. You know, every time I mention the name Paso, it kind of feels weird. I think there when even when I mention Paso, I'm like in my mouth it doesn't feel right. But MP, Mr. Wantali, what's up? How are
I
you?
don't know.
I'm good, thanks. But what's going on? What we doing? What's
No,
the
it doesn't
story?
matter what's going on. Listen, you can come here and say hi. What's up? How you doing first? I want to see
No,
how
we
you doing.
can't. No, we can't. No, we cannot.
Why is that?
No,
I
we
want, I
can't.
want, to, I want to know how you're
I'm
doing. I
not.
didn't
I'm
see
not. I'm not here for you.
No, yeah.
This
Last
guy.
week,
This guy.
I was around. I want to say hi to you guys. I want to see
Well,
how you're doing. You know what I mean? I didn't even get to Vanessa yet, and you wanna start blocking. I didn't
what?
talk to Vanessa in a long time.
See
Jesus
the,
Christ.
Blocking, not broken. But anyway, we
see
move.
I said,
thing is, the
me
thing
trying to
is,
be your friend. And you find me like that.
the thing is, Ovi, it's 2022, and they invented something like this, like a mobile phone. You normally
Yeah,
call.
Ijo,
You normally,
as usual, coming in with the dad jokes.
you normally
Yes,
call.
child. Yes.
I don't care what you think. I'm funny. Yeah.
I don't like what Wantali did there. He's flashing out his phone. Yeah. All right.
yeah. Try to
Okay.
show.
Okay. Fine. This one. Right. Yeah.
I got two
Two
phones.
Yes, Steve. Why is your phone so
Well,
Hey,
oily,
you're such a
bruh?
show off, I think. You're such a.
What?
Why is
There's
your
no
phone so
problem.
oily, though?
What do you
What
mean?
did I say?
Nasty.
You work in the kitchen. You work in the kitchen.
You nasty.
Nala, what's up? How are you doing, Nala?
I'm amazing.
I don't know what
Ovi.
you're
How are
talking
you?
That's cool. That's good, guys. Anyway, you know yourself. Nice to be back. I wasn't here last week, so guys, whoever's watching, welcome to the podcast. You got me and Alvita Wantali, as I said, and Nala and Pato. And of course, the biggest thing I want to say before we go straight into what we're doing, make sure you like, subscribe, and share our content every single time you look at a video and you love it. Make sure your friends can see it. And of course, check out our WhatsApp dialogue page where you can actually see all the merch we have. Catalog, sorry, not dialogue, catalog. Right, not that. Our catalog of our merch.
It's too early. It's too early.
Jesus is
Stop.
Lord.
Yeah, no, sorry,
It's
my
sunny.
bad.
It's still sunny outside, man.
No, the good thing, guys, is I corrected myself, But
Yeah.
anyway, without
Nice.
further ado,
After a second or two, hey?
yeah. To go straight into it, guys. The reason we're out today,
He's such a
as
troll, man.
you
Come
can
on,
see
Ovi.
on the question we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about one of the biggest things that is affecting most countries and money where we're coming from, which is Africa, which is corruption. It does happen everywhere, as we know it. Any country in the world, there is corruption. Everywhere in the country, in the world, there's corruption, and it does happen. But we're actually focusing mainly where we're coming from because there's more. You have more. You're more close to it. You've got more stories. You've got something that you've seen that happens at first hand that you can actually talk about. And the first question, as we're talking about it, as you can see, is why are we so corrupt? Now,
Where
basically, huh?
Oh,
Basically,
back home, is it?
huh?
Continue.
Sorry, yeah. So
Sorry for cutting you off there.
basically, what I want to go into, guys, and for you guys that are watching, I want to say it in a way of a story with something, let's say, personally I've done or I've seen. All right. And I want to say, with your people that are watching this, all you guys, all you three guys here, I'm sure in some time in life, you've either been the person who was corrupted or the person that was trying to corrupt someone in some way or another.
How's about we go back a little bit, and define what corruption is before you start convoluting this problem? Because now you're saying somebody's
send us
corrupted,
off.
somebody had corruption. What
Yes.
so maybe let's define this corruption first before we start talking about
Bribery.
this and that, and. So please, can we
Ovita,
define it?
enlighten
No.
us.
Yeah, no, I will enlighten you. Corruption. I'm not going to enlighten you with the Google explanation. No, I'll enlighten you
I
because
said
this is my.
enlighten us.
Yes, this is my show. So corruption, to my understanding, my understanding, guys, of corruption. Corruption is a form of trying to get away with. Okay, in my concept, I will put it is, let's say if the explanation is like if there was something that you've done that is against the law, all right, and you want to get away with it through a payout, all right, that is corruption, all right. Certain ways. If you want to go and process something, for example, let's say you want to go process an identification card at the office, you go there, and there are people obviously that have to go through a line to say that okay, number one is going to be this one, number two is going to be this one, number three this one, number four, number five this one. But you go there and probably a number 90, but you have to pay your way in to be the first one to be helped. That is corruption. If you guys go into a Google corruption, well, go ahead. But corruption, to my understanding, as I said, I'm talking about corruption in my understanding, and I want everybody to talk about it in their understanding and what they think about it. I'm not going to go to Google and ask what is corruption. No, I will never do that. Because I'm talking about what I personally go through and believe.
Okay.
Unless anybody has got anything to add on to that, please, you can go ahead.
I think we'll add on to that in the conversation. Continue.
Yeah, so I will continue. So, as you people have explained corruption, do I have, if you want the more genius, educated people, me, I'm not that genius and smart. You can go on Google. Probably Einstein has got his definition. So, guys, what I wanted to say, for example, as we were talking about Malawi or Africa in general, corruption, I want to give a little story, for example, like myself, it'd be I've seen it happen a couple of years ago. It still happens now. There was a property that was being purchased, okay? And when this property was purchased, obviously you had to bring it to Malawi Housing Corporation, which I don't know, here will be the Housing Council, if it was in Europe, or Housing Council or something like that. You've agreed the sale with the person, but you have to change the ownership of the sale. And you go to that place, basically you have to pay a certain fee for them to process your change of ownership of the property.
Yeah.
And there you have your papers, to send them to you and you have them. But for some reason, when you went there and you've paid the fee, they have to process, and the man comes and tells you, he says, "Sir, can you come please?" He said, "Look, right now we've got a very big waiting list to change these documentations. A lot of people with different other change of ownership. But if you want that maybe we should process yours quicker, you can throw us something, you can just give me something, and I'll give this one, and yours will be in a week. You will get your
Did you go for it?
No, I did go for it. I'll tell you, I did go for it. Okay. No. You need to understand, okay?
Like, what is wrong with you?
Hey,
no. Listen, look, but so my point here, guys, is I went for it, and yes, he delivered. Yeah, that's what I want to go to. I went for it, and he delivered as he promised.
So you're corrupt.
No, okay, yes.
Much.
At that moment, I was corrupt.
Man is corrupted.
At that moment. But
Not now.
Not now.
I'm a changed man.
No, I'm gonna stop you there, right?
Yes.
If you went to Malawi today, right?
Yes.
You don't have a license.
4K.
Yeah, code in 4K. You do not have a license, right? And you go to road traffic, okay? They ask you, they'll tell you to stand there for the whole day. But for you to get your license, you have to give someone money. Yes. Are you telling me you're not going to do it?
No, I'm a changed man now.
For you to get your license that day, are you not going to do it?
No, I will do it. So that's what I was trying to go to. No, but see, that's what I was trying to go to. Because when I say that story, what I think of at the end of all this story is, how did it get to that point that we have to do that and find that's normal? Like somebody asks you, like the fee is right there. They have a poster to say change of ownership is 10,000, and yet you pay that money, and then the guy comes you and calls you on the side when you have after signed everything, say, look, there's a big backlog there. If you want us to process yours, give us another, and it could be more than the fee that you paid for the thing. And yet we still say, all right, I'll go ahead. You know what I mean? Or maybe it might be less, you know, it might be less. You say, okay, 5,000 when it was 10,000. And you say, all right, yeah, for 5,000, I skip the whole queue. You haven't seen the queue in front of you, but and yet he just used the words straightforward. You just say, all right, I'll do that. All right?
That's right. Yeah.
That's why I'm trying to go to. It's the same scenario I can give real quick before I get to the question that you guys also know this corruption. You've seen it and you know it, right?
This scenario, where is it going, man?
No, I want to give another one. A real quick. This is a real quick.
Another one.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Real quick. Yeah, real quick. Another one would be like, for example, you'll be driving in a car and the police will stop you, as you call it. The guards will stop you, as you call it in Ireland. And let's say you have a broken tail light, right? Broken tail light is, let's say, a fee of, for example, 10 euros. You have to go bring it to the police station, a ticket, and you pay that as a penalty. Get your tail light fixed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yet it has happened on the road. So it was 10 euros. A police can say to you, well, look, if you go to the station, you pay 10 euros. And I'll write you a ticket. Or here and here. Just give me something and I'll let you off. So you're giving 5 euros. To you, you're like, oh yeah, I've saved 5 euros. I'm not going to give it to the station.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get a ticket. For him, it's like, yeah, I'll get that 5 euros. I'll keep it to myself. I don't have to write a ticket, which means the station doesn't know that I got something off the road. He keeps that to his pocket. So it's a win to you. And it's a win to him because if you pay 10 euros to the station, that has to go in the books because he gave you a ticket.
So this corruption that you're talking about is only in the public sector, isn't it?
No. to me, right now, as much as I can say, guys, I would say public sector. I wouldn't go to private sector because I've never been in a situation where it's in the private sector. If you've got an example, guys, if you've got examples that you could say, you'd be very nice so I can also hear it because I'm also here to understand.
Yes.
Now, I would like to learn about your question and what's to follow, and then maybe we can talk about the private sector.
All right. So that's my
what's
question.
Your question there?
As I said when I say the first story is how did we get to this stage of corruption that we are doing this? The stage where it's a norm. It's a norm now. Corruption is a norm. You go anywhere, you have to pay a way in to do something.
Okay.
No. I think you have to do that here in Ireland.
Yeah, but here in Ireland.
No, I'm asking you. It's a yes or no question. Do you think you have to do that here in Ireland?
I think there is to some extent, but it's not as bad as it would run in Africa. It is there. I'd say corruption is everywhere.
I disagree with that. There is corruption here, but you can't say that it's not to the extent like it is in Africa. In Africa, you see it because it's a poor country. Well, not a poor country, but because like in Malawi, you do see it because it's a poor country. But here, corruption is everywhere. You can't say that, because you're here in Ireland, then it's like 5% corruption. You can't say that.
Well, so I could be educated on that point because, maybe I could be educated on that point because in Africa, it's reached the stage where it's you gotta corrupt someone, you gotta pay someone to get something done for you.
Yeah. Is it all of Africa though? Because it's very difficult to just say, it's very, you can't just class a whole continent as corrupt. It's very, I know that the levels of corruption are different, right? That's true. But you can't just say the whole of Africa, for you to get things done, you need to pay someone off. We don't know that, I don't know that,
we don't know that. But
yes,
for as much as we don't know it, if you have met any person from different parts of Africa, would they just pretend that There's corruption in wherever they come from. For the laugh.
You've met a member of every 55.
Pretty
55,
much.
Yeah, 50.
Pretty much.
All of the 55 countries in Africa.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Capping.
Give us 10 African countries.
Please, I'm listening.
I'm joking.
I'm listening.
I can give you countries, but I'm telling you, I've pretty much met pretty much.
Okay, the point I'm getting to, Ovi, we
can't. Maybe Madagascar.
It's actually 54, yeah?
Look. There you go. 54.
Okay, go on, yeah.
So you can't speak for the whole continent to say, yeah, the whole continent is corrupt. Like, oh, so how did we get here? Like, how did we get where? Have you seen this corruption? Have you experienced it? I think the most important thing, the thing you can put value on is the experience, because, when I was listening to what you were saying, you were almost speaking in hypothetical. You were like, okay, let's say that you are here and this cop does this, there's corruption. But, for me, like, it's what I've seen and what I've experienced. Do you know what I mean? I think that's what I would say. Okay, do you know what? I can see it right here. There's a system here. There's something going on here. There's a problem, if that makes sense. For example, I come from a country where you see people that have no homes, right? And I know this happens everywhere, but they have no homes, and it's just almost common that every day someone comes to your house and says, "Look, I have no money for food. I live on the street, blah, 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 blah." Do you know what I mean? Compared to the Western countries where we live now, you don't get a lot of people that approach you every day to say, "Look, I have nowhere to live." Kids coming to you saying, "Brad, whatever, spare me, whatever, adopt me if possible." You know what I mean? And, you just look at that. Then you look at people in the same country, someone's got the latest Range Rover. You know what I mean? Not trying to fault that person. They could have done it legitimately, but the gap is just too wide, right? So now I'm speaking about what I've seen, right? Now, why am I saying what I'm saying? This alludes back to what you were saying, Ovi. There was a time when I went back to Malawi, actually about maybe 4 years ago. I skipped a red light because this thing was there for like 10 minutes. I was on the red for 10 minutes and it didn't change. I skipped the red light, right? I take a left. And lo and behold, police officer right in front of my car. It's almost as if she knew I was going to skip that red light. Okay. She was in the bushes and she just came out. "Yeah, I've got you." I remember this because here's what she said. "We've detained you." I was like, oh my goodness. I've been detained. I'm in my own car, but I've been detained. So she goes, "Yeah, you skipped that red light." Do you know what I mean? I said, "Yeah, I did." Because it took 10 minutes. It's like, it still hasn't thinking. It's like, "Yeah, but that's dangerous driving. You could have caused harm to people and whatnot." Do you know what I mean? I could arrest you right now. Hits me with all these things. And I'm thinking, listen, lady, let's get to the point here. So in my mind, I'm already thinking, let's get to the point here. Am I going to the station or am I going on my way? I'm going to take your license. You know what, though? I can let your license go if you give me something. Literally. Yeah. This is on a plate.
Straight to the point.
Straight to the point. Give me something. I'm thinking, what? How much? You know what I mean? And she's like, "Yeah, give it." So the equivalent of £10. Like, give me that. I was like, okay.
Not a problem.
Is that the fine? Is that the fine, or is that what you want? It's like, you know how it works. I'm like, no, I don't live here. I was thinking in my head, I don't live here, but I knew already how it works. So at the moment, 10 grand in Malawi, and lo and behold, she gives me back this license, right? And that's it. Like, nothing happened, right? And the thing is, this is a common occurrence in Malawi, to a point that people carry cash knowing that they're going to get stopped for traffic offenses and they're going to have to pay off the cops. This is a system, right? So that kind of story, lived it, seen it, part of it too. You know what I mean? Instead of going in circles about hypothetical brake light problems or whatever it is you're talking about. So you're asking, how we got to this point, right? So how did we get to this stage? It's because people like me, people like the police who facilitated this to say, I'm going to use my power, because corruption is an abuse of entrusted power, isn't it, for personal gain. So that police officer is using her position of power to gain money. But I'm also a part of the problem because I gave her that money. I could have said, no, do you know what? Do right. Yeah, I'm not giving you that money. Do right as a police officer and book me. You know, that is what I should have done. This is why we're asking today why we are so corrupt. Because nobody here, look, nobody here, ain't nobody cap. Look at I just said that I was part of this. There's no cap anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe you're talking about the cap I'm wearing. I don't know what. Anyway, so this is why we're asking this question right now. Why are we so corrupt? You know what I mean? Why is this the case? You know, why are we reaching at that point? Why are we at that stage? You know, we're there because we accept it. You know, how did we get there? We got there because we accepted it for what it is. This is the system presented to us. This is the easy way, and we chose the easy way. You know what I mean? The convenient way. You know, the other example was what Nala was talking about, getting your license from a traffic office, getting your passport. You know, they even tell, you know, you get told, like, look, do you want your passport today or do you want your passport in a month? You know what I mean? like as if there's a difference. Like, get it done in the time that it needs to be done. So yeah, the question is, how did we get there? You know, we got there because the system facilitated it, you know.
And I think as well, on top of that, Wantali, I think people don't take accountability for what they do. I think it's the fact that people don't take accountability and the fact that the fines after being caught, being corrupt, are not severe. I feel like if the fines were severe, people would not do this. Okay? If they were to tell you that, oh, if we'll catch you giving money to a police officer, or if you give money to the agent at the passport place, that you're gonna be in prison for 5 years. I'm telling you, people would not do this. So it's the fact that Malawians, I'm speaking from my own perspective. Malawians do not take accountability for their actions. The fact that I feel like just there's not enough that is done.
Okay. Well, you see, I think the law in Malawi for corruption, it's there. You know, the punishment for bribery, corruption, it's there, but it doesn't. But
how many people? Yeah, exactly. But then, how many people actually do get caught and go to jail?
Well, who's doing the catching? That's the important part, really. Who's doing the catching? Who's implementing this constitution or whatever it is, this law that you're talking about? Because we can have these laws. I'm telling you now, we probably have these laws there in Malawi. If you do this, this is what happens. But I bet you, even the guy the cop that's just become a cop today has read that law top to bottom, front to back, but has come back, has gone. I look at this system and I look at my friends. This one's got a nice watch and whatnot. I'm sitting here eating beans and sima, which is what we eat in Malawi. What we eat in Malawi.
And all that stuff.
And stuff like that. These guys are having steak every day. You know, the system is already there, giving you that platform. You easy buck, convenience for a little bit more, you know? So we have the rules. Yes, I get it. But, you know,
again, like I said,
can we follow these rules?
It's because people do not take accountability for what they're doing.
I think what I think is just you know, when you're going back to talking about you paying the police, you know, woman to actually get you out of that trouble, that mess, and then you're like, oh, here, I get back my license and I'm out of here. I think it kind of just, you know, pins the point of, you know, there is that part we have to think about the salaries that are behind, you know, these people, you know,
definitely.
the civil service sector is really hit hard, where everything else doesn't rise the way the economy is moving in the country. And we've seen it a couple of times to say, you know, you're heading to your house, but then you pass a certain neighborhood and they tell you this is where the police live. And you're like, damn, that's a bit rough out there. Like, you know, and you realize that these people have so little to, you know, bring back home. And then they find a way to hustle. And what a better way to hustle, to use your power and then, you know, get a little money out of there and then go on with your life. and trying to avoid the trouble behind it. But then you also think about the idea of the structures of the government. You think about it like, I've seen some politicians that have been there for the past 20 years, and I'm like, how are you going to be in the same position for 20 years? Like, there needs to be a shuffle in this kind of thing. Power cannot be given to one person for such a long time. And then you think about how they control the resources, because they're the people.
What's wrong with somebody holding a position for 20 years, though?
Imagine if you have a plague, right? It's growing and growing and growing, and people are like, we need to cut it off, and the person is not even reacting to say we need to cut it off. It just keeps on spreading and spreading.
This is the same thing Ovi was doing, though. Imagine you had a break like that was broken. And imagine you gave them €5.
Listen, I understand what Mpato is saying. I think, in other words, what he's saying is, if there's a politician in power that is not contributing anything, but all you hear is, you not just even hear, you see him driving around in fancy cars and whatnot, but everything else in the background is not working out, and everyone is complaining about this, but nothing.
Here's an example,
and he's still in power.
True. Here's an example. Okay. In China, right? In China, if a politician is caught, right, embezzling, like, whatever government resources and stuff like that, embezzling, government funds, they are executed. There's no chance. There's no negotiation. Okay. You're put down, right?
That's you know what? That's a good point. Anyway, I'll let you finish first.
So I'm looking back. I'm looking back to a story that I read back in the days to say, you know what, our president, there was a prosecution of our president to say, there was about $15 million missing. These funds were supposed to go to the AIDS kind of aid, right? And all of that just went silent. Till today, there's no conversation to it, no prosecution whatsoever and stuff, right? So what are we doing with that? To say, if someone else is found to say they've actually, used certain government resources and they're moving on with their life, how are we supposed to handle that? How are we supposed to handle that in like a private sector as well? To say, the CEO has, taken out a few dollars in there, and we're just all looking to say, oh, if I say a word, I'm going to get fired and I'm going to lose my track and all that stuff.
All of that is speculation, though. you got to play devil's advocate on this part. We know the result of corruption, and you're talking about high level corruption here. You're talking about misuse of public funds and all these things, right? Things like this, right? Once again, you need to have the law that allows you the accountability, like Nala said, to know where this money is going, or the paper trail to trace what's going on. So a system that tells you where the money's come from, where it's going, who's spending it, all that stuff, right? Now, if we have that in place, the accountability, right, it'll be easier for you to say, okay, this money came from this person. It's meant to be spent on this thing by these people, whatever it is, right? If that's not there, if it's not as open as it should be, then we'll have all this speculation. Yeah, this guy's been in a job for 20 years. Now he's got a Ferrari. Now he's got this. Now he's got that. That guy could be the most qualified person in the government. He could be a person actually doing their job. Do you know what I mean? And actually getting paid for it. We don't know that, do we? Do we know that because this is why I don't want to I don't want to allude to that one person. I'm looking at the system, because people have come and gone. And this is the one thing. People have come and gone. Governments have come and gone. But yet the corruption is still there. Because if we're saying people are corrupt, right? Why is it that people go, people get fired, people quit, people get caught, but still it remains, right? It's not just one person, is it?
Do you think?
All right. Here, I'm just gonna cut it short. I don't know if you guys know this, but if you date back in like the 1950s and whatsoever and stuff like that, nearly like every country, when they were getting their independence and all that stuff, right? Certain countries put forward to say, you know what, we're going to help Africa in this way. We're going to put in aid to help all these governments to, recover from, their struggles and all that stuff. It's been about nearly an estimated about $1 trillion that's been pumped into Africa, right? But this has been pumped into Africa over the years, and every single government has seen all these money coming through. But we have not seen anything rising from the ground up and seeing it to say, this is a structure that so-and-so really, put in all that stuff. And when we date back to everything, governments have a session of governments are committed to say, we're going to lend certain African countries, or we're going to lend a certain country this amount of money. And governments have that system. Every year, governments are giving each other money. But we hear on the news, and now you hear celebrities are the ones that are saying, oh, you know what, I'm fundraising for this. But the government's got the money. Why are celebrities coming up front and making all this to be a huge thing, where the government should be there to say, you know what, we don't have money and we're going to fight for this. We're going to do this for you. We're going to do this for all of you people. We've raised this. We got this money from this place, and this is how it's going to go around. There's no transparency behind it, and it's been there for a long time.
Back to the accountability and transparency. Okay, but again, MP, and unfortunately, that example, that example you're giving. Again, you're going to have to be a little bit more specific. Like, what's the source? Where's the proof that this money that was given from foreign aid has gone into a Malawian account? Like,
one Jali, come on.
No. My conversation. I will back this conversation.
Listen.
If you guys,
listen. I am not saying there is no corruption, but I am saying we shouldn't come on here and say, no, there is corruption because the news said this money came here.
Yeah, it's better.
This money went.
Can you do me a favor? Can you do me a favor? Can you do me a favor?
How many? But you're the same person. You're kind of contradicting yourself. You're the same person that is talking about, oh, I had to pay off this lady because she caught me. Passing through a red light. You're the same person that's saying this.
Exactly.
Okay.
And there's a reason why I said that, because I saw it and I experienced it and I was part of it, right? So I gave you an example of what exactly happened.
You saw this. Cashgate. Tell me about it. Tell us about it. Cashgate.
Newspapers, people got.
Those were newspapers. You tell me a person.
People were found with money in.
Okay, so why were those people arrested? If they did not do anything wrong, why were those people arrested?
There's so many politicians.
Why did others commit suicide?
We know in Malawi people get arrested for nothing. Just literally looking at the wrong person the wrong way, they get arrested, right? You know that, right? Like political enemies get arrested in Malawi
proof.
for no crime.
I'll give you proof. You know that guy, what's his name? The guy, not Manganya, the other guy who's a comedian. Just because he wants to talk about what the government is doing. How many times has he been arrested in the last 4 or 5 months?
So this is an indication that there is no democracy. There's no freedom of speech, is it?
Well,
because if this guy's going to talk about, this is what's happening, and then you get arrested. But then that's another talk for another day.
I think my point here is, guys, my point is, look, we all know that there's corruption to the highest level, which is why, again, I'm going back to that example, because normally when there's corruption, if the corruption is as bad as the simple person, the police officer, right, accepting 10 pounds, 10,000, which is probably what, 10% of what they earn a month, right? If it's reaching a point,
I would say pretty much even more than that.
If it's reaching a point of that person, doing that and getting away with it, then you know that it scales up to wherever it is, right? So I'm looking at that little part, the microscopic part, like how have we gotten to this point, right? Because let's face it, everyone's corrupt. Every country is corrupt. I mean,
how we got into this point? Sorry to say, but you're the problem, Wantali. You're the one that started all this.
Because I understand where Wantali is trying to go to. Because
well done, MP. Nice analogy there. What a
literally put you on the spot there.
When we said to this point, he's trying, and I get it as in a way that, guys, here, as you said, Nala, you said there's corruption, and I accept that, but it's not to that point. It's not to that point.
How do you know that? How do you know that?
No, okay. I'll tell you how we know that. I'll tell you how I know that.
I don't think we can prove or deny that it's there.
Exactly. You can't prove or deny that it's there.
But
because
but it's not to the level. But it's not to the level of where Africa is.
How do you know that? How do you?
I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example.
You don't know what you're talking about.
No. Let me tell you. Okay, let me tell you.
If you go into you can get.
I think.
If you let me explain, maybe you'd hear when you'd hear me. Okay.
How many times have you heard people going to immigration and even getting papers because of just having to know somebody from there? How many times have you heard of that? Is that not corruption? Is that not corruption. The same level as Malawi?
Of course. Okay, that's true. Okay. But what I'm trying to give you an example is just hear me out. Hear me out, guys. Here, it's not on the level because not every Jack and Jones can do that. In Malawi, any Jack and John can do it as long as you have money in the pocket.
You know what? He makes a good point.
You get me?
He makes.
That's what I'm trying to say. You tell me you should be on the road and you should run a red light and the cops stop me and I should take out 50 euros and give him. I'm going to jail.
That's a good point.
My friend, no. I am going to disagree with that because at the end of the day, it's about the people that you know. It's not about money. I could have 200 euro in my account.
But in Malawi, you don't need to know anyone.
You got to understand the scale of the effect of what's going on because, as he said, in Malawi and
he didn't know this police officer.
According to you, in OV in Africa, it's corrupt.
Look, he's talking about he didn't know this officer.
What are the chances? What's that?
Skating away from that one, yeah.
No, for example, like
according to you, Ovi in Africa.
No.
Listen, what are the chances? What are the chances?
Hold on a minute.
Okay, go on.
Hold on a minute. He's right. Actually, he is quite right. You know, he's actually getting to the point here. What are the chances of you bribing a police officer in Ireland compared to bribing a police officer in Malawi? Right? What are the chances? You
told me as a police officer in Ireland can go straight up to you saying, "Give me something and we cancel the whatever."
Well, in fact, that officer even telling you that,
telling you straight away, just give me something. You know.
I believe now we're having the conversation of the places where we're living is what determines our level of bribing someone else, because if you earn enough to actually, sustain your luxury and whatever lifestyle, it means there's a chance that you're not going to dig in too deep into whatever is happening on the background to say, oh, I need to get, let's say, 10 euros for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner and stuff like that for my family, right? Because the guards here earn enough to not be in the position to stretch their hand to say, I need that tenner so that I can go.
What's the annual wage?
That would be about maybe 38K. I would believe so. Somewhere average there.
Okay, for an entry level police officer in Ireland, 38K.
All right, you go on speaking. Let me just have a look.
Okay. Listen, guys. Listen. The principle is Maybe let me just ask you, MP, the one that said they've got enough money. Is there such a thing as enough money?
No. No.
Yeah, if today, MP, I say today I'm giving you 50 euro, you're not going to accept it? Just for nothing, just giving you the 50 euro.
Without a catch.
No attachment. No attachment. I'm giving you 50 euro. You're not going to accept
it. Let's go off camera. Let's go off camera. Let's go off camera. Then we can talk about
what's wrong with this guy. Anyway, your point, simply by this example, your point is invalid. What Ovi's point is quite correct. Down to the
actual question.
Well, but we get into it. Down to the mere commoner, right? In Malawi, that is. Down to the mere commoner. They're going to think of bribing someone to get the convenience side of it first, because that's part of the system. The system tells them that, look, if you want to get this done quicker, you're going to have to use your link. You're going to have to give somebody money.
So now we're talking about the problems. How are we solving that now?
Wait, we'll get there. This is part of the discussion, isn't it, MP? Just establishing that, okay, look, what's the levels we have? So why are we at this level here and not at a certain level in Ireland, which is what Ovi was
that's our point.
What is the scale? Why is it this much? The scale of it is like this. Doesn't matter even if it's a person who goes to church, but does what?
Anybody, literally anyone can bribe anyone in any Jack and John.
All right. The conversation stretches as far as, you know what used to happen back in the days? A chief over in the village, and then the traders come through the village. They want certain things. The chief would stretch out and use his powers so he can get a lot out of, these people and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Slave trade and all that stuff. So everyone that's in power has an effect on the next person and the next person. Everybody wants a share of that thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at the bottom feeders and you're saying, how do you fix them? Why don't we start from the top and then down? Because you cannot tell a policewoman, policeman, and say, go back to the office and go fix this, because right about now you're just bribing me to pay you something, and then we get away with this.
Okay, I think MP, I think you don't. I'm trying to. Okay, I'm gonna give you. There's a reason why I use this example. Once again, I'm gonna go back to what I was saying, because today you cannot turn around to your president or to your political establishment. You cannot change that system. You alone?
No.
Can you do that?
No, it's impossible.
No, it's a question, because you started at that. That's where you started. You said, okay, the political system's wrong. There's a guy who's been there for 20 years. Are you going to go there and say, excuse me, sir, you've been here for 20 years?
How many times? How many times have we been talking?
Let me finish. You said, excuse me, sir, you've been here for 20 years. I believe you've made too much money. You're too corrupt. Can you leave, please? He's going to listen to you. That guy?
No.
I believe the change of policy, the change of how you conduct things. Because I'm telling you this, you would want to see change. And as much as people want to resist change and say, oh, this is the most educated person in the country, and we can't allow other people to step in to actually exercise their knowledge, exercise their, their innovation and all that stuff. There is no chance to say that a person that has been in that position for like 40 years can say, oh, this is new technology, here you have it. Or this is new infrastructure, here you have it. They cannot have that buzz to be in a position to contribute all that. They need the new people to step in to drive the head to a different direction.
What are you talking about?
I am talking about the same stuff to say that you have a person that's there for 20 years. There is need of change. That's why I say you need to shuffle to actually.
MP, if I told you you're part of the problem, would you believe me?
I am part of a problem. I believe you, because then in this situation, I should have been in the position to say, you know what? I will not pay you for this offense. I'm going to the office and I'm going to pay the office, and then I'll get my receipt.
That's not the problem I was talking about, actually. That's not what I was talking about. I'm talking about the story that you you were telling, basically, the 20-year one, where you also mentioned that you want to see change, right? I am sure there are Malawians, there are people out there who are saying, this country is so corrupt. We need the right thing to happen. We need to see change. That's you right now. Right now, like, I need to see change.
Let me see. My geographical location cannot have me going outside and protesting on the streets and then sending out emails and then walking into someone else's office day by day, right?
This is another excuse, but go on.
I'm just being frank, because the reality is, just for example, I was talking about the technology, looking at the process, how everything works in the civil service department. If something else was so transparent to say, today we paid for gas and gas went to this car and this is what happened, the distance is this, blah, blah, blah. There's always that accountability, right? And the top, you know, they will also have that to say it reflects to the junior. They can see that, okay, the manager went to this place and this is what happened.
Yeah,
this is what you need to see, but it's not given to you because they say, "Oh, bureaucracy. You're not supposed to see a certain level of something."
Okay,
you know,
MP. Let me give you an example. Let's say I'm that politician you were talking about, the one that's been in the job for 20 years, the one you want to tell you that, hey,
I'm fired.
No. Hey, remember that money that I've been stealing for 20 years? You know, those public funds. I'll start telling you how I'm spending it now. You know. I'm getting away with it right now. You think I'm corrupt, but you can't prove that I'm corrupt. I'm getting away with it. I will come out of this post and I'll go somewhere with that money, and you can't do anything about it. But how? So you're expecting me, the guy who's been working for 20 years, got this system that works, to tell you that, oh yeah, I'm accountable today. I should just decide to be accountable today. Basically, that's what you're saying, right? That's what you want to see.
Pretty much. We can wake up the next day and get you arrested. That's what I want to see. A system that discovers a problem should not wait.
No. I'm not done, MP, because now you're saying we should wake up tomorrow and see you arrested. The same police officer that took that 10 euro for me to. I'm richer than you, by the way. I've made 20 years worth of money. I'm above this police officer. I can buy the whole police officer.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got all this power, and I've said, listen, here's a police officer.
Here's a little recommendation.
Here's a big house.
Okay, here's a little. Okay, here's a
private school.
All right. Can I say I just had something just to recommend here. So, for example, you're in that power. I would say, for example, if there was a remedy, if there was something that we could actually solve in this situation, if we're going to catch anyone else that's, bribing or doing the corruption stuff, clearly, we just take the money and disperse it over to the public. That's to show that whatever you're stealing from the public, the public will get it back.
Okay, that's fine. Right. So you take this money he's stolen and you give it to the public.
Before you go. So when they caught one person, cash gets scandal with the money under the bed, they take the money, they say, all right, guys, who are giving,
everyone in the morning, your bank accounts whatsoever, we're just going to make it sure that that all the one-tumblers are going to get to you.
Come on now. How many times have you heard people doing that? How many times?
I'm just trying to be the next president, so I'm trying to sell myself.
More like the next Robin Hood.
Oh my god!
I'm here trying to be like Robin Hood.
Sorry to the guys who are watching. Listen, we did digress, but it's very important to discuss these things. As you can tell, everyone's got their own opinions. It's a mad thing. But yeah, carry on. Sorry.
Okay, so MP, I know. Okay, MP. If I had to say, okay, not trying to rush it away. So if I had to say, if you had to find a solution, if that's you today, all right, we need a solution to minimize this happening in Africa, in Malawi, as we say. Okay, let's talk about Malawi because we're all from Malawi.
But Ovi, again, you're going to the solution. Have we identified the problem though? You know what I mean?
No.
Can I identify one of the problems since everybody's
please.
digressing?
Please, yes.
I feel like there's lack of independent detective agencies. So
but
I feel like
Anti-Corruption Bureau.
That's not independent though.
We're talking about Malawi, right?
Yes, that's not independent though.
She's right. Well, it is, but it's still funded by the government. But anyway,
there you go. I mean, not funded by the government. I mean, an independent entity that will be able to investigate with full power and prosecute people that are corrupted, even including politicians, including a president.
Okay.
I feel like there's lack of that.
So Vanessa,
do they have that here in Europe? I just want to know.
Hold on a minute. Yes, they are. Now, hypothetically,
even in America, they have it.
They've got watchdogs here. They've got all these things. But the most important thing, and in fact, let me ask Nala this question. Okay, let's say today Malawi has independent investigative agencies, whatnot, all over the place, right? And today, I'm the corrupt politician once again, right? Mr. MP there is independent investigation watchdog Malawi. Ovi is Mr. Got You Now today, whatever, But I'm the corrupt guy. I change the laws if I have to and if I want to. I control the police. I control the law, right? I control the judiciary system. What is it that you're going to do that's going to stop me from what I'm doing, basically?
But then again, that's what I'm saying, that it's not just the lack of independent detective agencies.
Okay.
That's one of the issues. Another issue is the fact that people are not paid enough money. Okay? People are not, I think either Wantali or Mpaso touched on this, where if someone's getting such a low salary where they're like, how am I gonna make it by the end of the month? And then they see someone else that is like, okay, you know what? You caught me doing this. I'm gonna give you 20,000 euro, 20,000 kwacha, okay? And just let me go on the spot. No strings attached. Just let me go. Right? That's bound to happen. So I feel like there's so many things in place that contribute to corruption. It's the lack of independent detective. It's the lack of not having enough money to fund to the public sector.
Let me ask you a question, Nala. All right. Yeah. You've lived in Ireland, right? Okay. Cool. Are you telling me that the whole time you've lived in Ireland, yeah, you have been financially stable, sufficient, and everything? No. So you haven't reached a time where you thought, you know what, I've got nothing, right? But have you ever thought, let me go and start receiving bribes?
No.
Why?
Because there's resources here. There's resources. You get to a point, and then as well, it's not just that. It's the fact that you can go and work. I know this sounds wrong.
Minimum
you
wage.
Can go and work a shitty job and still be able to make ends meet. It's not the kind of it's not the let me land.
Okay, finish.
It's not the kind of money that you would make in
luxury
office
stuff
or whatever. Exactly. But it will get you a small room where you have shelter, you have food on your table, you have, you have some sort of comfortability. All right.
Okay.
But in Malawi, you don't
Once
have
you're
that.
done, you're done, homie.
Exactly.
Okay. Now let me apply that theory here. Once again, right? You're saying there's plenty of resources. As you know, even now, what's happening in Europe, in whatever, gas prices going up, people losing their jobs and whatnot, right? So we're in a position where some people don't know where to go, where to turn. They can't make ends meet. Are you telling me those people are turning into bribes? Like they're able to turn to bribes? Why?
Because as well, the government does have these security blankets in place.
But is it enough? But is it enough?
But then it has a roof over the heads.
But is it
I'll give you an
enough?
example. No, I'll give you an example, right? I can stop working today, right? And then I will go seek for allowance every week.
Yeah.
I'll have a roof over my head. I'll have food on my table. In Malawi, if you don't have that, you don't have a job. You don't have trust me, you get to a point where you don't have a roof over your head. You don't have food. And at the end of the day, what's going to happen? You're going to end up being in the street.
Lazy man.
Yeah.
Okay, but
it's completely different. You cannot compare Malawi and
No, I'm not. You see, that's the thing. I think you're missing the trick here, because your point was you're saying it's not enough. Like the people that are working in these entrusted jobs and whatever are not receiving enough. That's true. But today, I don't think anyone can admit that they have enough money. You know what I mean?
Can I just add another one and you start thinking about this one?
Can I finish? Can I finish?
Yeah, please proceed.
So with what you were saying, Nala, right? I get it, right? Corruption is there. It will always be there, right? But people don't have enough. Well, guess what? Neither does anybody else. You wake up today thinking, I want this in my life. Oh, okay, fine. I don't have a roof over my head, right?
But people here have basic needs. In Malawi,
doesn't matter.
Come on now.
Listen, no. You got to understand what I'm saying. If Malawi today got these basic needs you're talking about to everyone who doesn't have enough, would that stop corruption?
To an extent, yes.
Would that stop corruption?
I'm not saying it would stop it, because there's corruption here as well. But
now let me go back to that system that I was talking about, right? The police officer that is not getting enough money. Okay, I've gotten 10 grand off of Mr. Wantali. Yeah, I've gotten, say, 10 grand off of 10 people for that 8 hours work that I get paid the shitty wage that I get paid, right? And now the government tells me they are giving me money, yeah? They're giving me money. And guess what? The money is not going to be what I'm earning on that day, for getting off of those bribes, right? Is that enough? No. I'll probably turn back to the same system that is telling me easy money, quick money, not getting arrested.
Okay, Wantali, how much do you pay for I'll give you the smallest thing. All right. How much would you pay for a can of tomato in Tesco?
Oh, the cheap
Less
one is
than a
about
pound.
49
Less than a pound,
cents.
yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
How much would you pay for that in Malawi?
€1 something, maybe.
No. Actually, you're looking at it again.
No,
like,
I'm
look,
trying.
but where they
Okay.
who
You're
buys,
not letting me land.
okay, out of the the majority of Malawians, who buys a
can of tomatoes?
No, I'm trying to give you an example that life is not as hard as it would be in Malawi. You can get 20,000 in Malawi and it will not be enough because of inflation, because of prices for food. It would not be enough. Here, you have other means to get money. Okay.
So just to ask you, you now agree with my point when I was saying that the corruption levels are different with here and Malawi, yeah?
Well,
that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm talking about.
No, I know. Yeah, I'm just saying on that point.
She's talking about resources.
I think I also like. I'm taking Ovi's note there, and I'm actually trying to add in just one more point. There is a thing that I noticed over the years growing up in Malawi. I noticed that there was, like when you're looking at power, there is cultural determinants. So where you're coming from a certain part of the country, that's where you get the favoritism happening when you're going up the ladder and stuff like that. People favor each other and more of, tribalism and all this kind of things, because certain things are like, oh, you want a job? Don't worry, I'll get you this. Oh, here's $1 for this. Certain people trade.
If I told you that happens here, would you believe me?
That kind of happens here as well.
Kinda.
That's why I'm saying, yeah.
No, I'm trying. Well, okay, that happens here as well.
Give that man a job. He's British. Give that person a job. He's Irish.
Exactly.
So.
I've been worked at a place where
it's happening here. It's happening back home.
Give that man a promotion.
Yeah, so it's happening here, it's happening back home. But how do you stop this? Because people are accustomed to this kind of behaviors. People will never change. Like Wantali just put it there. People will never change. You give them.
I didn't say people will never change, but go on.
The point that you were trying to land was a person's hustling, like he's got 3 sources of income, and then the government, pitches out to say, here's one source of income.
Yeah.
They'll look at it and weigh the chances to say, how long is this going to, how long are they planning to have me on this? And is it worth it? If I lose it, where am I going to go? Am I going to still have the same connection with the people that I was trading with? So those are the kind of.
At the end of the day, right? You could lose your job here,
or
you could choose not to work. Okay.
Yeah.
You could choose not to work. You could say, you know what, work is not for me. It's too stressful for me. I'm going to be on the door.
I got mental.
Yeah, go on. Continue.
Yeah, I don't want to work. I've got mental issues. I do not feel like working. And the government will give you cash money every week. How many times?
I don't disagree with that at all. Right? I don't disagree with what you're saying. Now, in fact, the scale is definitely different. The resources are there. But if you apply the same principle you are saying, in Malawi, there will still be corrupt people. In fact, there will be higher corruption. You know what I mean? Okay. Now, let me tell you why. I've been trying to allude to this point for far too long. Right. Let me tell you why. There's a reason why countries like America removed people like Trump from the country, right? Constitution. They had to follow the constitution. There is rule over the leader. Do we have that in Malawi? No, because I'll tell you what, the president can change the law. Yeah, in Malawi.
Again, it goes back to what I was saying.
I told you about the constitution structure, the government structure. It has not changed.
The government structure.
Same people.
It's different. It's different. What he's trying to say.
What I'm saying is different to what you're saying, and because you're talking about whoever is there right now, or
it's government structure.
Listen, in our country, there's no who's got more power.
Let him finish. Guys, let him land. Let
government structure
land.
Is the process of everything. The way people are setting up the policies and all that stuff. That's the government structure. It has not changed from back then till today.
The judiciary system and all these things.
Yeah.
But you see, MP be in that very same point. You mentioned somebody working for 20 years. Do you know what I mean? They, that happens even in the developed.
The person that writes the policies.
Yeah, but even in developed countries, you will get people who work in government structures for years, and they're doing their job right, not even corrupt or whatever it is. I feel like that point,
they're audited.
Yeah, they are audited. Exactly. This is the important part. There are processes that are followed. There are rules that are respected, and they are not above anyone, So if we have that in Malawi, then definitely you will see a decrease in corruption. Definitely, because if there's a law to follow and people that police them, as Vanessa said, which again, I didn't disagree with what you were saying with the private organizations, but all these things need to come together. You can't have one without the other. You can't have all these private anti-corruption, whatever, without this law that helps them, police it, basically. Also, you can't have people getting arrested if your police force is corrupt. You can't do that, so there's a lot of things that need to work, which is why I was giving you that story about the guy, the 20-year guy. I'm like, look, if I control all these things, you're not going to achieve anything,
I've seen people get arrested today and they're out in the next 30 minutes.
That's correct. Because what? They've got connections, they've got money, they've got the power to influence the people that arrest them. Why? Because the law allows us to do that. It allows them to do that. It facilitates this system, basically. Yeah. But personally, I wanted to go down to the common part. Like for me, I feel like anything trickles down from the top, definitely, right? If the mere person is doing something wrong, then definitely the effect has come from the top, right? It has definitely come from the top. So you as a mere person, what are you doing to change that? Yeah, it's come from the top, but are you going to turn around and say, hey, you, mister, you taught me how to be corrupt. You got to change something, which is what we're doing now, which is what you said about change. You're waiting for change, but that's why I said, why are we corrupt? Like, today, we would probably still go and say, hey, for convenience, let me give this guy a little bit of money so I can get this done,
So you threw it out to me and say, how am I going to change that in a position that I'm in, geographically challenged, right? I'm right here. How am I going to change that? I'm trying to send a voice out there through this.
No, but before you answer that question, I want to hear from one daddy. How will you change that? Please enlighten us.
That's why we look. I don't have all the answers. All right, I'm not going to tell that.
But you're out here trying to get answers from this man.
No,
and put him on the spot like that.
Because you know why? Because he already
trash.
No. Because the guy already had the answers. I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna wait for change. I want change. That was you. I'll tell you what. How am I gonna change it? It starts with me. Right? It starts with me, because if I play back that situation that I just said, if I turn around and say, listen, I'm not giving you anything until you do your job properly, I'm doing my part, right? That's the first step. The very first step.
Tali, can I stop you there? Are you telling me you decide, you know what? I'm going to visit family tomorrow. You fly to Malawi, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because
your license expired.
No, listen, leave me alone. Let me land.
Decide.
You get there, right? And because you drive, and you know how Malawi is like, you can't go here to there without a car and whatnot.
Yes.
Right? And you go to the road traffic office, and you see a huge queue of people. And then they tell you that famous line, the network is gone.
Okay. Well,
are you telling me you're not going to find somebody? And then you have a friend, prior to that, you have a friend who tells you that, you know what? I have a friend who works at road traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Just give him $5,000 and he's going to sort you out that day.
Tomorrow.
Are you telling me, Goody, you're not going to go ahead and do that? Lie.
If I'm going to be part of this change, no. If I am going to
if you want to be part of the change,
no, because but let me ask you a question, right? We're sitting here pointing.
Ask the audience that same question.
Yeah, of course, but then I'm talking to you, am I not? So then I'll ask the audience. Look, we're sitting here pointing out the problems, right? We're like, this person's corrupt, this person's stealing money. But then you're turning around and also admitting that you're part of the system, yeah? Because we're aiding this system. Doesn't matter how much we're putting into it, how little it is, right? We're aiding this system, right? So you're admitting that, okay, the system's there, and we're just going to continue with however it is, however it works for convenience. That's what you guys are saying, right? That's Nala. You asked me the question. That's what you're saying, right? You're gonna accept the way it is and just leave it that way.
No, I just asked you a simple question.
Yeah, but I get it, and I answered the question. Now I'm asking you a question, isn't it? So
yeah, it has to start with us.
No, but Ovi, the problem is that we have to realize that, Africa back then is not the same as it is now, because everything that was happening back then, I think they were trying to fix stuff, but now things have just gone out of hand because people have found new ways to, squander all this money and everything. And now you have to start changing all those policies to new policies and new ways of
there it goes with the policies again.
Sorry, my network's there.
Okay.
So if you have the policymakers behind it, you start fixing that stuff. Infrastructure, you have to have IT systems that could actually, indicate that this money is moving this way. Something that's electronic could actually show a huge trace than something that's just paperwork, out there.
MP, this point that you've made, I am sure it has been made before. I am 100% sure, right? But then what makes me, again, the guy who's benefiting from this system, you want me to change that, because let's face it.
I gave you a line. If we find out that you're actually, you're involved in something, like
right,
you're into this bribery stuff, we find out, we charge you right away. There's no other way around it.
But using who? I keep saying this. Using who?
It's you being the policymaker that really has everything.
Exactly. So look,
independent bodies.
Like I said, right? For this system to work, it's three things. Well, two things: people and the money and whatever it is, the benefit, all these things. These are the things involved, right? So if I'm the guy who benefits off you when you go and allegedly commit a crime, and I'm looking to win, and today you don't pay me, the next person also doesn't pay me. Do you know what I mean? That's affecting my pocket, And if you tell me you're not doing it because you're following the law, 100 people come and tell me that, what do you think I'm going to think? I'm going to be like, what? Actually,
this point right here, right here, I am just going to take it back to the last conversation that we had about the African Union. Swear to God, if we had one currency that would be trucked around the whole, certain parts of the continent, right? Certain governments wouldn't like a certain individual being corrupt, and they will step in and they will step that person and they will lock up that person. There is need of extended, independent, auditing in this sense. It cannot always just be within the country. It has to be stretching out all the way.
Okay. I think I like what you said about not the extended part, but there is need for something, because look at it right now. Yeah, this money that is being embezzled, where's it coming from? The same external help that we're asking for. You think that external help does not know what's going on? Because normally if they're giving grants, they say, look, Malawi or whoever, we're giving you this money. We expect you to go and do this for your hospitals or do this for your buildings. So they come back, say, I gave you money, man. What's going on? Problems.
Problems, the medicine.
But you look at the newspapers, or the guy that you're speaking to who's telling you problems is coming a hammer. Guy's coming a hammer. You know what I'm saying? So look,
Elon Musk's tweet said, I'm going to donate 6 billion and I want to see every trace of that money, and I want to know where you spent it, how you spent it, and all of that stuff.
Okay.
So it's that kind of transparency moving forward.
Yeah, but look, again, coming back to the external thing you're talking about, the problem starts within. The solution is within. I really believe in that. It's within, and look, I don't like going into like fictions or whatever watched or whatnot, but let me go back to I'm going to digress a little bit, not too much, just a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
hit it. And then,
in places like, for example, Mexico, Colombia, where they're pretty much overrun by drug cartels, right? I know I am digressing, but you know, these drug cartels fund political movements. They're in politics, they're in all these things, right? They know the risks, but they continue to do it, right? In fact, they feel they are above whatever. But yet you find that in these very same countries that are corrupting the police officers and whatever, there's always that one person you hear about that turns around and says, nope, I've had enough. I've had enough. I'm not letting you guys ruin my country. Then they have a police force that ends up fighting against these people and ends up getting them caught, right? So what I'm saying is it started with that, or killed. It started with that one person to make a change, right? This is why I keep going back to that one moment that I had, the one moment you probably had, whatever it is. You could be that person. You could be that person that turns around, I've had enough. I don't want any of this. You know what I mean? We are here on a platform talking about it. You know, other platforms could be there showing the problem, because I don't think this is spoken about or shown as much as it should. You know what I mean? Do we actually see this money that's being exchanged, or these, you know, we know there's corruption. We know it. But do we see
you know,
it?
Do we see it?
Unless you go to the country, you see it. But on TV and all these things like published, you just see people writing, yeah, this person stole money. What money?
Can we be honest? Can we be honest? No. Yeah, can we be honest about what we do most? You know, banks in like Europe, banks in like, you know, the western parts of the world and stuff like that, they audit your account.
Exactly.
If you're rich, you're rich, yes. But if you put certain amount of money, they will stop and ask you, where did you get this money? You have to prove where you got this money and how it all traded.
Absolutely.
We don't have that in place over in Malawi. People are.
But again, MP, for us to get there, something has to change. Someone has to change it. We can be that change. You know, you people watching right now could be that change. You know, there was not long ago, you know, we had an election because we had a re-election because
what a hype.
We believed that the elections were rigged. It took one person to turn around and say, you know what, something's wrong here. Let's do something about it. And then organizations got behind it. People started marching. People started making the right discussions, you know, fighting the right fight. What I'm saying is, it starts with us. You know, we've got to change. Otherwise, if you're thinking this way, I'll bet you millions are thinking the same. You know, that's what I'm saying, basically.
We can only think the same when it affects us. But if it doesn't affect you, they will not stretch.
You don't care, to be honest. If it doesn't affect you, you don't care. You're invisible, which is why I'm saying, Mr. 20 years making money, he ain't gonna care. He ain't gonna change the policy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's that was really nice. That was really nice, sir.
Hey, I can see a fight. I think this fight won't even stop. After this, I know that you guys will still continue somewhere, because Nala looks like you look like you're still vicious. What you have to say? Do you have something to say?
What does that mean? What does that even mean? I'm calm. What are you on about?
No, you look vicious as if, because when they were talking there, you looked vicious.
You get it? If you don't get it, forget about it.
You're an idiot.
Oh.
Yeah, so
that's
it's a madness.
It's a madness, guys.
Do we know how to minimize it? Well, we don't. I think there is no chance to. Like at the end of the day.
Well, I give my side of it. You know, I don't. You know, and Nala gave her side of it too. She said, "Look, I think we need more people, more independent agencies to police this." You know, and she's right. One can't just do it. You need 2 or 3. You know what I mean? And they need to be allowed and given the power, you know, to be independent of the government, given the power to do what they need to do, whether it is going to audit the banks or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They need to be given.
You know, I've been educated here, guys, because like I just thought like anti-corruption bureau, those boys are like the big top dogs. I thought like I didn't know that they run through the government.
Well,
actually.
There's a lot.
Read the news, you know.
No, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but you know, me and reading, we don't go hand in hand. You know,
Listen,
I
just watch.
mean, the way, okay, Ovi, the way it works, right? If you become, look, again, I might be wrong on this one, but based on what I know and based on what I heard, this is how it works. So, Ovi, if you become president today, you're president today, you will probably hire Vanessa to take charge of the police force.
Yes.
You will probably you don't even know if Vanessa has the credentials to do that job.
No, sure, he did that. But the last president did that.
But because Vanessa's the last president.
The president that we have right now.
Anyway, I'm not trying to get into details.
No, the president that we have right now, he did that.
Details. I'm not
Let him finish. Let him finish. Yeah. Let him finish.
You will hire Vanessa, to be in charge of your police force. Yeah. You know, say for example, there's a system in place where you know that you can get away with embezzling money and all these things. How can you make sure that you can do that without getting caught, but also looking good to the public? You hire MP to be the guy who deals with the anti-corruption side of things. Okay, MP, go and fight the corruption there. Here and there, you say that, hey man, I saw these people stealing money. You come to me, you tell me, okay, cool. We put it in the newspaper. This is bad, We need to fight it. Then I keep doing what I need to do because what you, the president, you have Mr. MP as your friend. You have Nala as your friend. You know, when things go wrong, you know they've got your corner. This is the problem. Is he not gonna
employ you as no is he not gonna employ Wantali as head of as head of the army?
Head of the army.
Exactly. Head of
the army. But you know, in Malawi, to be honest, in Malawi, the only part that they failed to put someone to represent them that much is the army.
Are you sure about that?
You're lying.
No, I'm not. Listen, no, don't get me wrong. Like, listen, I'm not saying 100%. They do have a few boys in there, but it's so hard to get to the top.
We're not here to talk about that.
Nah.
Okay, cool.
We'll talk about that next time. But thank you very much.
Yeah, we're not here to talk about that. I'll tell you one thing, Ovi. Idi Amin, my friends. Idi Amin. Yeah, you go and read up on what happened there.
Read up on.
No, I seen the movie. I ain't gonna read. I'm not going to read. I seen the movies.
You seen the movie, yeah? So at that point you just made means that the army general can be corrupt as well. The army can be corrupt as well. You know? They can have their own aspirations.
Yeah. So guys, that was really good talk. I don't know if you have any more questions on that one.
No. We're empty right now.
All right.
Interesting choice of words, Ovi.
Yeah. All right.
Wow.
Something wrong with this. Something's wrong. Something is wrong with that. She ain't all right. You're right. That's why I was saying I missed you. I didn't talk to you in a long time. You got to talk to me, boo boo.
You're an idiot, man.
So anyway, guys. Thank you very much. Of course, I'm going to thank you guys first, MP Wantali and Nala, for showing up. You know, I didn't do the same for you guys last week, but thank you for showing up this week. Appreciate big time to you guys who are following and subscribing and sharing, of course, and of course those people who are in our catalog for the match. Yeah, keep on picking the stuff. You know, we need that match out there. Represent 5Roundz. And most big thing we always say, guys, make sure you subscribe, like, and share. You know, get your friends on the podcast. And of course, we're on Instagram and Twitter. We're on Spotify. Like the list goes on. You know, it's the handle is the same. 5Roundz, never changes.
Okay, so what did we talk about today, man? Damn.
Yeah, no, I'm going into it. Listen. Why are you pushing me? You know.
Taking long, that's why.
I don't care if you ain't got too much time.
You know, man. I don't know about you though. You know when you go on a YouTube channel and somebody just starts going, make sure you do this and then you do that. Yeah, that's me switching straight. I'm gone. I'm gone. You get me? This guy.
Yeah. So guys, as it was today,
What is Pato doing?
I know, right?
Pato!
As it is today, guys, we're talking about corruption, why we're so corrupted. And obviously...
This guy's snorting drugs, man.
He
was doing a line. No,
this is a joke.
This is a joke.
Yeah, guys.
Just
so you heard it
before you get slapped by YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Guys, you heard it from one child, first person kind of information. He's involved in this corruption thing.
Whoa! That's terrible. That's terrible. What are you talking about? Everyone here has just hesitated to give the examples. I'll tell you what, guys.
I didn't hesitate.
I'll tell you what.
I gave you an example twice.
Thank you. Maybe 90% of Malayans, maybe 99% of Malayans have been involved in a corrupt act, or whether they're the victim or whatever it is, you've been involved. You know what I mean? It's just the way the system has been built. And like we're saying, the question is why are we so corrupt? You know what I mean? What would stop us? And we looked at how being Malawians, how we got to a point where it's just acceptable to be that way. We looked at that at a microscopic view. We went in detail as per Mr. Mpato. And then we sort of, had some ideas on how we can minimize, corruption. We didn't want to go too political with it because this is a societal problem. It's affecting the livelihoods of many people. We also looked at what is in place at the minute and what needs to change, Let us know what you guys think. It doesn't matter where you're from, because obviously we've given a Malawian point of view. Let us know what you guys think, wherever you're from. How do you stop something like this? How do you solve a problem like this? Where is the problem coming from? So yeah, just make sure you put it in the comments, guys. All right. Anywho, that was it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, notification button. It's 5 rounds, and we're out. Take it easy.
Peace.
Have a good night, guys.